I want to thank all of you for being here and listening to the show. I have a great one coming up today with Sean Welsh, CEO of CarBiz Done Better. This is one of my brothers in the industry. Incredible guy looking to make the industry better. Him and I have shared a common outcome that we wish to leave the business a little bit better than we found it. Stay tuned. It's going to be a good one. Before we get going, big thank you to our sponsors, Fixed Ops Marketing, Traver Connect, Parts Edge, and Dynatron Software. If you are in the business of running a dealership, you owe it to yourself and your teams to reach out to these companies to help every single department in that dealership. Now let's get into it with Sean Welsh. One quick disclaimer before we get going. There is some language in this podcast. All right, welcome back, everybody, to the Fixed Ops Mastermind podcast. Super excited to have someone here who is not just a fellow automotive guy, but somebody I consider a friend, Sean Welsh with CarBiz Done Better. Sean, thanks for being with us.
Dave, you're welcome, buddy. Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it, and your kind words on the friendship, that means a lot to me. We've been working together for quite a while, and I love to see where you've gone, my friend. Congratulations on all you've done. I appreciate that. Congratulations on your success. This isn't a plush hotel room in Boston where we're recording this like the last time, but it's what we have for now. So it's the last time I was really doing live podcasts too. That's we've all come to this format now, Dave, haven't we?
Yeah,
so,
it's true.
We will get back to in person though, my friend. Don't you worry. And Boston is on the list. So
there you go. Yeah. This time we got to make it so you can spend a little more time, so we don't have to just spend a couple hours with doing a podcast and some dinner.
Fly in, fly out for sure. I would appreciate that not to be the case. Absolutely.
So, Sean, for those who have not been on LinkedIn in the last 20 years and have no idea who you are, to give people a little background about who you are and what CarBiz Done Better is all about.
Yeah, man. So this is my, 22, 23. So 23 years in car business. I started off on the front end, retail, always in retail, front end sales, running dealerships, working my way up the ladder, working my way into ownership. Just over 9 years ago, I was at a crossroads in my life where I had a chance to go into owning dealerships and make that dream a realization and make that the road, or start a business that could have a broader impact on the industry as a whole. And after sitting with a couple of different people, one being a great owner of many dealerships here in Wisconsin, he basically convinced me that I didn't have enough money to do what I wanted to do on retail. And it wasn't, even if I had the money I had, he said, that's fine. It's still not enough. So what you should do is you should start this company, this idea you've had, and you should help the industry as a whole. And I'm going to give you 3 stores, and I'm going to give you 90-day guarantee on those 3 stores. And you prove to me what you can do. And if you can prove it, I'll give you the rest of the stores, and you can have your company and you can run. And that was this March will be 9 years, or this May, 9 years since that happened. So, and at CarBiz Done Better, we help dealers deal with all things digital marketing, from data to vendor management, to meetings, to planning, to forecasting, you name it. We help. We don't sell any marketing. That's not my business. My business is in the data analysis part of things, Dave. And that's really what we do. But me as a person, I like to be outside, enjoy my life more than I work, like I was telling you in the pre-show. So who I really am, and then yes, if you haven't been on LinkedIn, you don't know this, but I'm a big outdoor guy. I love to always be outside, enjoying my life best I can, but got to work to pay the bills. We can't just sit around and do nothing all the time.
Absolutely. And so on your side of the business, basically what you're doing is helping dealers understand or understand's not the right word, but I'll stick with it. Understand what they're spending on things.
Understand what they're spending, but also what the data that comes back is, right? So vendors, when they talk to you, there's very few times where vendors will bring you a list of mistakes in a given month. Okay. And it's no one's fault. It really is not. It's historical. It's everywhere in our business. Everyone, to use baseball terms, is hitting 1,000.
Right.
Which I know is impossible because you get in the Hall of Fame for failing 70% of the time, which means at minimum, everyone's failing at least 70. So my goal is not to show the failure. It isn't. It is to highlight that all success may not be as bright and shiny as it looks if you truly dive into the data and you get rid of the vanity, or you look at, in my world, Dave, people talk about how many clicks they can get, how many, VDPs they can get. That's all well and good. But if half of those come out of the country, then no one really cares, right? So we help do that data dive inspection. I grew up with Google Analytics. I've been with it from the inception of it. I've used it on websites. So I know it inside and out, and it's a big thing that dealers don't. And they'll tell me all the time, Sean, I'm going to hire you because I don't care. Okay, but you realize you should. Yes, right. I do. Wonderful. Then I'm the perfect partner for you because I care a lot. And if you work with me, I care about what you do, sometimes even maybe more than you do. And so there's this part of it it's about the connection of people. Like I told you previous, I have a choice of who I want to work with. I have a choice to do all of it. And that's the choice I take seriously. I don't want to just work with people to work with them. I don't need just a paycheck. I want to make a difference. I want to help you accomplish and understand something that you didn't. We've got GMs who use our program, Dave, to educate themselves. I didn't know that till recently because if I'm being honest with you, my job is done on a delivery date status, like we talked about, right? Something's due on a date, that's the date. No one asked me how I got there.
Right.
If it's due on the 12th, I deliver on the 12th. Nobody has any questions.
Yep.
So when I do that, I cut myself off. I say to myself, the job's done. That's it. Don't go looking to see how people engage the material. Don't go looking how many views the videos have by the client. Don't do that because you may find that they don't look at it. And then you may become deterred at doing your job. So don't do that and assume they do nothing with it, but they trust your judgment. And when decisions are made, they reference it, right? Okay. A guy who's been with us 2 years, who I met year one of CarBiz. I met him 8 years ago in Tampa at a digital dealer. He signed with me 3 years after that when he got his own store. He's been with us since then. I never talked to him. We texted here and there. He never calls me back. We never do anything. And then all of a sudden he calls me and goes, hey, man, I just want to let you know I had a huge meeting with the owners and all of our other stores, and people were blown away by how prepared I was. And I said, well, that's awesome. How'd you do that? He goes, well, your videos, of course. And I said, oh, I had no idea. He goes, what do you mean? He goes, you don't know I watch those things religiously. I take notes. I go, well, no, because you don't respond back. You don't do anything. He's like, I don't have to. You gave me marching orders. I go do what you said and I move on. I was blown away. It was an idea. It was a concept that the education would mean more than the deliverable, than just some video. We produce now over 300 videos a month for our clients.
Wow.
Produced on their data. Dave Foy, you're in the age range where you'll know this reference. I use a John Madden telestrator. So the video is all their data, and I'm just writing on it. I'm boom and banging, you know what I'm saying? And I'm going crazy with the data, and it's some of the most boring shit in the world that people could look at this data. Not the way we do it, dude, because it can't be that way, because then you won't care about it. You got to have the hype behind data. You got to have the fun with it, but we also have no guidance. The data is our guide. We're beholden to no one.
Yeah.
That goes through manufacturers, vendors, no one, anyone, internal people. I run into that all the time. Sean, I got an internal guy. Give me 3 months looking at his data, and I go, the internal guy is not doing a good job. How do we handle this? And it's those uncomfortable conversations where you either get fired or they go, you're right, man. We gotta do better. How do we do better? And it's, that's a line that I'll cross because that's my job. And I'm not afraid of not coming back when I cross that line, because that to me is already telling part of the relationship anyways. So, a little bit longer answer, but I love what I do. So it's easy for me to talk about.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that last part that you were talking about with difficult conversations and from being the vendor, it's incredible to have that relationship with them, that you're willing to have that hard conversation, right? And to talk with them about those things. And the other thing that you said was, choosing who you work with, right? So there's probably been people who have come to you and you're like, you know what? It's not a good fit for us. Maybe they wanted to hire you, but you realize this wasn't the right client for you. And that's something that we do at Quantum 5. We're selective with who we take on as clients, because I want it to be somebody who is prepared. If you've got a shop that's broken, it doesn't matter what I teach your advisors. It doesn't matter that they have all the skills in the world. If you have a shop that's broken, you can't fix that, right? You've got to fix the shop problem. Or if you have a leadership problem, you've got to fix that before you go on to the advisors. And to be part of a company like I am at Quantum, and like you have there, that chooses to take on clients for people who you can actually affect, as opposed to just get a paycheck from, is really powerful.
Dave, it's so empowering to have that, right? It's to me, it's a huge part of what I do. And when you talk about the symptoms of a dealership, what's broken, what's wrong, the reason that I got invested in data, when we first started, our first 6 months, I was convinced I wanted to be the next biggest consulting company in the world. That's what I convinced myself of. The reality was that isn't who I wanted to be, because ultimately I don't like overhead. I don't like employees. These are just things that are they're headaches that I found in my life I don't do well with, Mm-hmm. And people say, well, you're a leader. Not really, because I don't want to lead more people. I don't want more people under my responsibility, dude. I already did that, right? You know this.
Yeah.
When you're responsible for so many people's livelihood, and how it goes. Right now, I'm responsible for like 3 people's. I'm cool. I can breathe. I can sleep. Because I will take on the pressures of each individual person who works for me. And I know that about me. Mm-hmm. And I'll take all their stuff on and I'll make it my stuff. And I can't do it, right? It's not long-term good for Sean. So I need to pick partners who want to work with us. And we're fortunate, and you're fortunate too, Dave. If you guys at Quantum can say that, right? Saying, hey, look, we work with who we want to work with. It's an empowering position, because then we're not wasting time and resources with those who do not. Mm-hmm. And to me, the only way I get around those who do not engage, as I told you earlier, is all my stuff is video based. It's on demand. Yeah. So once I deliver it and you send your check, we're good together. And it does not matter to me what you do with it, because I can't get invested if you're going to fix the problem or not. Because when you don't fix it, then I get pissed. And I can't get pissed because I don't work for you. I work with you. Mm-hmm. And in order to work with you, I've got to understand that boundary.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things that that I love about what we're doing is we're measuring that true ROI for customers. Rather than just go in and deliver some training and give them the technology that we have behind everything. I go in and look at the data every month for our clients, and then I pull it apart. I don't have a super cool video telestrator like you do, but I pull it apart and put it into a story and deliver it back to the leaders of that company to show them that we're actually delivering something, right? Because if I'm not delivering something, then what am I doing here for you? There's no reason for you to pay me if I'm not delivering on what I said I would deliver on. And that's part of you and I have had the same mission statement for this business, to leave this business a little better than we found it forever. And that's part of it, right? I can't truly have that statement if I am delivering stuff that is not delivering an ROI for the client. And one of the things that you said earlier was you're looking at the data because the vendors most times will tell you they're batting 1,000, right? And I remember plenty of times when I was running stores and you send out a mailer or an email campaign or something, and at the end of the month, that vendor sends you back an ROI report that shows they brought in more gross profit than the department had gross profit for the month. Well, How did you do that? How are you claiming 112% of my gross profit for the month?
And how did you get those 3 mechanics who work for me? How did you guys end up hitting them? How does that work? How did my mechanics go through the front door, come back around and say, yeah, I got a coupon from the mayor, dude? I mean, the whole thing is asinine to an extent that you talk about true ROI. I don't think that's measured in attribution. I don't think that's measured in the number of RO improvements necessarily. So to a vendor, you, it could be as your job. If your shop's broken and they're only writing 35 ROs a day and they should be writing 70, you build them from 35 to 70. That's true attribution, right? Like that growth, they didn't do anything different, right? The only way to really measure true attribution is to either stop what you're doing and do something else, or start a certain way, run it for a year, and then run back the next year a different way. Other than that, it's going to be difficult for you to really, especially in my world. Marketing, dude, I was just telling someone today, I'm doing a podcast about this coming up. Just attribution and marketing, can we stop? Google's doing a lot of it right now with the Google store visit stuff. And I break it down like this, Dave. Google is telling you that before people went to look for a car, they were on Google. Right? That's basically what the fuck I get from this whole thing. It's just like you saw an impression on your phone and you bought a car because we tracked your geo into that dealership and you bought a car. And so now, you're a store visit and that's thanks. If attribution wants to exist, then you can just give it all to fucking Google. You guys can just stop what you're doing and you can say, you know what? If 90% of searches start on Google, then what am I worried about attribution for? It's all Google's to have and the rest of us to want. So I don't get stuck in those kind of, deep rabbit holes of that. I like how you say ROI because return on investment to me is not financial. The discussion we just had today with a dealer client that we're looking to partner with, the question always comes up, Dave, Sean, how will your product sell me more cars? Well, the old answer when I first started was it won't. So stop asking me that question. But I've grown up over the years. And so now the answer is, well, philosophical, Sean, now that I'm new at this, is the answer is in the question. So I will save you time allowing your people to help you sell more cars.
Right.
And he's like, boom. I thought, okay, this worked. Because at the end of the day, that's the ROI he's worried about. He's worried about how he moves more metal, and I'm worried about freeing up people to help him do that. That's the whole goal of what we do. I don't want to be a marketing director for a dealer group. Right. If I wanted to do that, I'd go do that. It would be that simple. I don't want to do that. I want to help people strategize and look at data and not be invested in the day-to-day. Dave, you know this.
Yep.
We talked about this before. You get out of retail, you get a little detox, but one of the things that you get away from and you realize is that you can help dealerships do so much more from a distance because you're not tied into the day-to-day drama.
Right.
You're not tied into the heaters. You're not tied into the issues. None of it.
Yep.
You're tied into the work, to what's expected of you. And I think that's what makes it so powerful to be a remote worker. If my owner 15 years ago would have taken me up on this, I would probably be his satellite internet director and never started my company. Yeah. Because this is exactly what I asked him to let me do, was run your dealership's numbers from a distance because I don't really like being there 12 hours a day. Yeah. I would rather do other shit with my life. And that's how I'd rather do it. And he always said no. And funny, now he's a client of mine. So it's pretty hilarious to take that all the way around. But that's why we do what we do, man. It's a small world, Dave. You're probably seeing that even more now than you did when you were running stores.
It is a very big small business, that's for sure.
That's right.
And you're absolutely right. That 10,000 foot view that they talk about a lot of times is even more powerful when you are outside of those dealerships. Right? Like I can take numbers, the numbers that I take from dealerships to do their story at the end of the month that I deliver to them. These are all numbers that they have, right? Same thing with you. You're not giving them numbers they don't have.
Their data.
Yeah.
It's their data. That's all it is. Right. It just told us, but it's an unbiased story.
Exactly.
Right? For us, it's not a story that I'm trying to tell you. I'm just listening to the data.
Yep.
And I'm letting it tell the story. One of my clients, we have a nickname for me. Apparently, I'm the data tea leaf reader, where you can just look at it and you can say it. So now it's a bit. So now when I do his monthly videos, I'll make guesses of where I think the next month's data will sit based on the last 2 years of data. And it's, it's dumb shit, but when it's right, it's fun. When it's not, it was a joke. Who cares? The point was that you can look at trends through data if you're not trying to give it a narrative.
Yeah.
If you just take data for what it is, but see, the problem is the vendor producing their reports can't look at data that way for the most part, Dave. Marketing people have to look at data through the lens of their success.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
But in there somewhere is a failure that, if talked about, could probably make everybody better.
Right.
And that's the failure I'm trying to uncover every month.
Yeah. And a lot of times they're just too close to be able to see that failure. Right. So I'll go back to your bit of delivering stuff. If you're the tea leaf reader, I'm going to tell you, you can go on to Google, which they already apparently know you're coming. And you can get a deck of tarot cards made for you. So you can be the data tarot guy.
Look, if you can put the logo on them and things, Dave, I mean, there could be all kinds of possibilities. I know my wife and your wife, they run in the tarot crystal corner world that I'm peripherally involved in,
Yeah, there you go.
But she talks about it all the time. And so it's something for me that would be a great internal joke, and something she was just talking to me too. My wife was just saying, hey, if you're going to do the data tea leaf reader, Sean, you should get the turban, and you should have a whole genie outfit. And I'm like, well, it's not a genie. I'm not, But the point was the whole idea of the mind reader, of the future reader. And it's I get it, but I could come off like a genie, and then it's all fucked up. Then the joke doesn't land and doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you can get somebody to build you one of those boxes like the carnival people used to have, right? The great Carnac, no, that was Johnny Carson that did.
From Big, yeah. I don't remember what the thing was, but from the movie Big, they walk up and.
All right. I totally took myself off track there and had no idea what I was going to say to you.
Way better than anything else, though.
So I know what I was going to say. I was going to say, from looking at the data from far away and separated from it because they're too close to see it, it's easier now as I walk into dealerships to be able to see things that need to be fixed in a much faster amount of time than when I actually worked in the dealership. Even when I started at new stores and I was going to stores that were broken that needed to be fixed, it still was 2 weeks of kind of looking, but that's because I was immersed in it. Right. And now I can just look and go, yeah, that's broken. And here's 5 things you can do to fix that. This is broken. Here's 5 things you can do to fix that.
Yeah, dude. So Dave, it's it all comes in slow motion now. Right? It's now you're in the matrix. Now, when you walk into a service drive, you don't see the drama. You don't see that future headache of yours in the service drive. The guy who got his feet kicked up, you're you don't care. You go and you say, nope, this doesn't look right. Here's why. And by the time you're zoomed out and your lens is back to the forefront, you go, I got it.
Yeah.
I can see it. And it's so powerful, right? That's all we do with data. That's all we do with vendors. We started off we've always been a satellite company. We've never been in stores. We couldn't scale the economy side of that, right? So in order to travel and do all that shit takes money.
Right.
I'd have to charge people exorbitant amounts of money. So that's why we came up with the video concept. Mm-hmm. And the video concept only came after a client asked for us to stop doing audio files and having him pull up a spreadsheet to follow along. He was like, why would I do this? It's 2013. I don't remember. He said, either way, he said, Sean, you should be able to make me a video, figure it out. And I was like, okay, all right. And again, we live in an age of technology, and there was just so you know, Dave, my video shit is a $2.99 downloaded app. Okay. Just one time, bro. This isn't even a monthly charge. I paid $3 8 fucking years ago, and I'm running videos, man. So don't put fancy in there. That's not it. It's not even that cool. But it allows to write on stuff and have stuff, do stuff. But dude, it's to us, it's about that evolution of being able to see it from a distance and say, this is broken. And it's not because I don't like the vendor or I don't like this. I don't care who the vendor is. Mm-hmm. If you told me it was my brother, I would fire him if the data sucked. And I use data, but much like the baseball discussion we were having, in baseball and the idea of Moneyball, right? This is a whole concept. I've written articles about it where you want to use the concept of that. But the concept of data in baseball is in conjunction with scouts of baseball. I think a lot of people forget that. So there is a two-sided of the animal. Our job is the data. The people at the dealership are the scout. And if I've got the right scout, and that's why I pick who I partner with, because I want the best scout, if I get that, we're a dynasty together, babe. We can get so much done because they come to me and they go, Sean, what's wrong? I go, here's all what's wrong in your 2-minute videos. And they go, great. I'll go get it fixed at the stores next month. If it's not fixed, we follow up and they fix it. And you don't have to be somewhere to make an impact. And I hope everyone now realizes that after the last 2 years. Yeah. Because if you don't know it now, you're probably not going to know it, is my guess.
Well, there's that's a road a lot of dealerships are going to face, right? There's a lot of dealerships that learned a ton over the last 2 years and have taken what they learned and implemented it and made it part of their culture now. And there's a lot of dealerships that learned some stuff that they thought they just needed to get through. And then they reverted back, right?
Yep.
And there was, as COVID started, one of the things one of the trends that was there that the data told us was as less customers came in because people were not working, advisor numbers actually went up because they got the time to work with each customer the way the job was originally designed, right? And there were a lot of dealerships that were like, whoa, look at this. Our advisors are doing a better job now because they're not handling so many customers. And then when the customers picked up again, instead of putting on some advisors to keep those numbers up, they went, whoa, hey, expenses. And their numbers went back down.
I mean, you can't make this shit up. And I wish some days that I could, because you're absolutely right, dude. It's the same thing with sales floors, right? Mm-hmm. These guys were like, hey, Sean, took the sales floor down to 4 guys. I've never seen such an efficient sales floor. All the guys were hungry. Everybody did it. Awesome, awesome, awesome. I'm like, well, that's killer. He's like, yep, paid too much in bonuses. Bring it on 4 more guys. I'm like, wait, I don't, what the fuck just happened? I don't understand. Why are we doing this? Why are we changing this? No, Sean, you know me. It's the 10 by 10 mentality, right? 10 guys sell me 10 cars. I'm at 100. That's the math. It's like, yeah, but 5 guys could sell you 25 cars if they were happy and fat, living on it.
Yeah.
So, but whatever, we'll do it your way, and then we'll circle back and we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I think a lot of lessons will be learned, and I don't think that most of them will stick. Right. I think they'll stick on the front end, Dave, as long as the manufacturer inventory to lot is an issue. Mm-hmm. I think they'll stick. But once that, and trust me, people, okay, these manufacturers do not survive if they don't create cars in mass production. It's why they're called what they're called. So if they're going to all of a sudden become boutique manufacturers, they probably won't survive. Yeah, that's a reality. So we're going to have cars on our lot. We're going to do all that. I've got a show being released soon, not to dampen that parade, but that discussion. My concern is what we've done for the last 2 years to our consumers on the front end is how difficult the next 3 years will be.
Absolutely.
Remove them from their vehicles to be of that assistant, and you're going to need manufacturer rebates that currently don't exist. And so again, as they fill their lots, they will increase rebate, but I don't know if it'll be enough to overcome 110, 125 a book. And that's kind of my podcast is an open letter to my industry, because I don't know what to make of it. And Dave, I've had this discussion with you before. I'm not a parent, so I don't comment on parental things. Although I think sometimes I may see it clearer because I am not as close to the situation. I don't ever dare make a comment on that.
Sure.
In our industry, because I've been subtracted from retail for now going on as long as I was in it, I feel less like I have an opinion to say about what we've done to the consumer in a way that, because I'm not in retail, so I don't know the pressures of what people are dealing with. I lived through cash for clunkers, so I know what no negotiation gross looks like, if that's what you're talking about.
Yeah,
I know that. But we weren't going over. Mm-hmm. We could have.
Right.
We weren't, though. We were just at sticker on everything. We weren't going over, and and it wasn't about used cars. That's what fucked this whole thing up, is that the value of used cars jumped too much.
Yeah.
I made a joke in the first 6 months of the pandemic. You'll know when we have a problem when, used car prices jump the, new car price. That was a joke. That was a joke. And then, there's the data tea leaves 6 months later. It not only jumped it, it fucking leaped it.
Yeah.
And so now what? Right. So, dude, I try not to comment on it because, again, I don't live in it, but I ask the question, what now? That is the upcoming question I have for folks.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. I was in a dealership this morning and just wandered into the showroom, and there was a vehicle out there, and they had the little addendum sticker on the side that said MVU, so MVA, market value adjustment, right?
Yep.
And it was $2,500. Not just handwritten $2,500. No explanation, no nothing. Just give me an extra $2,500 for this vehicle. That even though it's not going to be worth it later, and you talk about used vehicles going out. I have a 2014 Wrangler that is worth now more than when I purchased it used back in 2016.
Dude, if someone comes to me one more time and tries to tell me that cars are the new commodity, I'm going to freak the fuck out. Because in no way, shape, unless you got something with a 6 in it, right?
Yeah.
Those of you on LinkedIn, you follow my guy, Matt Thordelson, the garage guy. You look at these old cars he looks at. Okay, that car, sure, that appreciated.
Right.
But your 2014 Jeep should not have appreciated, Dave Foy. It should not. I got a 175,000 mile Subaru I bought brand new. Someone just offered me 12 dimes for it. And I thought to myself, that's a damn good deal. It's getting expensive to keep that car running, but I love the car because they don't make shit like that anymore. And I'm not going to sell it. I don't care what it's worth. You know why? Because I can't replace it. And I wish more people looked at things like that now, because your used car, you're screwed, man. Oh.
Yeah. I was talking to one of the market area VPs for Hendrick yesterday, and we were talking about a very similar train of thought, and the fact that there's no inventory now, but back in the 80s, there was not that much inventory either. It was the way you ran a dealership, right? So it's not like this is that. Yes, the overall situation's completely new, but dealers running without inventory is not completely new. And that came around, and it'll come around again. Like you said, Ford right now making itself out to be, we're gonna go on customer orders, and this is gonna make us more efficient. That's great. Yeah. You tell yourself whatever story you need to make your marketing team happy, and make it think it works. But in no way, in a couple of years when all the supply chain issues are gone, are you only making a vehicle when somebody orders one?
If you do, you will no longer be the number one pickup truck of America. That's what I'll tell you. So if that doesn't matter to you anymore, if you've decided now, after 100 years, jamming units down people's throats, that all of a sudden you're good, you're not going to do that, give me a break. Please. The OEM puts us in this situation every single time. Oh, well, production this, production that. Oh, production's back up, production this. Guys, just worry about production. Stay out of marketing. Stay out of other. Just produce fucking cars. You got a tough enough time doing that, and you're not. You're gonna go back to rebates. You got no rebates now. Oh yeah, You're loving it. Everyone's loving getting fat, right? You know what happens to pigs when they get fat, Dave?
They get slaughtered. That's
it. That's the only way forward. There is no other option. Okay, unless they find a sanctuary, which is wonderful for them, but that ain't likely. So you got to be able to focus on it. And we got enough problems, let alone a manufacturer. You're going to turn an F-150 around every 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Custom order, hundreds of those a week.
Right. It's not going to happen.
Way. You're not set up for that.
No.
You're not set up for that. There's nothing about your business model that says that.
Right.
And you make your dealers build these ridiculous Taj Mahals in the last 5 years. Tell them to go fuck themselves. Their money doesn't matter to you anymore. Please, dude.
Yeah, God, it's if you've ever gone to an assembly plant, you know that this build to order thing is not how that assembly plant was set up. That was set up to put out as many vehicles as possible in a day, and it is unbelievable to watch that line go.
Dave went down to Smyrna when I was with Nissan to see Nissan plant down there, dude. From a singular piece of sheet metal to a Maxima rolling off the back.
Yeah,
that happens A, by all robots. B, it happens at scale.
Yeah.
Dude. Right? They're not like, oh, Black Maxima? Yeah, no, let's just throw that thing back here. Change the color. No, just change the color. That's fine. Change the color and send it out. Next one will be white.
Yeah.
No way. Dude.
No
way.
No. Yeah, I went to the F-150 Bronco plant back in the early 90s, and there was a lot less robots back then. It was a lot of actual people, but just to see the setup of interior carpets laid out for the day, just stacked up.
Unbelievable, right? Or the rolls of the sheet metal, just these gigantic rolls of sheet metal, and you're like, what is that? And someone goes, a car. You think, it looks like a thimble full of metal.
Right.
My funniest thing about the robots, Dave, we were on that tour. The guy goes, well, you wouldn't imagine this, but Nissan finally realized that we didn't need to have lights on for robots. So the plant shuts lights off as we exit areas. You'll notice the light behind you turns off. I thought to myself, now if that isn't a microcosm for the relationship with the OEM,
absolutely,
what is,
yep,
people?
Absolutely. Keep the lights off. Don't let them see it. That's good stuff. Sean, this has been an awesome conversation.
Buddy, love it.
Definitely one I was looking forward to. If people do wish to reach out and try to do work with you, what's the best way for them to reach you?
Best way to reach me is probably right through our website, carbizdonebetter.com. My cell phone is on there. The number listed will dial right here. If you dial it, it ends up right on this phone. I answer it. There's an answering service, but it's an actual answering machine, not an answering service. It's a voicemail. Other than that, yeah, it's me. LinkedIn, that's where people find me most of the time. So we're there anytime you need us, buddy. We appreciate the opportunity to come on, and I'm just so thrilled we finally got this done. I know it's something we've been trying to connect on here for quite a while, and it's I'm glad it happened. It was awesome.
Me too. Good stuff.